And I'm so happy to be back because I'm again with these two, development political analyst and former Knesset member for the Yesh Atid Party.
Welcome back, Lucy.
Thank you very much. And Charles Billizer, deputy editor for the news today. Good evening.
Good evening, Lucy.
Okay, so I will tell you a little story that I was in New York last week, and I passed and I walked on the Fifth Avenue, and I walked just right next to the Trump building, and there were a lot of people there demonstrating, and with like big signs for Donald Trump, and looking a little bit funny, and saying that they're not racist, but they are pro the United States and they want to make the United States great again, but they're not racist because they want security for themselves. Sounds a little bit familiar, and it was a little bit fishy because there were it seemed like people were paid to be there. I swear to God.
I'm on a silver platter.
Think about where we are, where people are going out to demonstrate to say, we are not that.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
We are not racist.
We are not racist. We are not against women. We are not against the handicapped. We are not against... This is where we are. But, Lucy, those people are out there demonstrating, but 50% of Americans, 50% say that they will be embarrassed if he is their president. I've been through many elections. Of course, you want your person to win, but you didn't hear people say if the other guy wins, we'll be embarrassed for our country. That's a whole new terminology.
Yeah, but the embarrassed, but 50. What about the other 50%?
The other 50% is not racist and wants security. So I'm gonna parrot exactly what you said. I mean, at the end of the day, there seems to be a strong grassroots base that supports Donald Trump, but that's at least what the media is telling you. I want to really dig deep here because I went over most of the polls between the middle of November and today. So you're looking at about a 6-week period when really the controversies surrounding Trump reached their peak. So he went from about 25% to now pushing a major threshold of 40%. So not only is there a grassroots base for Donald, but it does seem to be growing in parallel with the extreme positions that he's assuming.
You know, he is not stopping anywhere.
But the question,
anywhere.
The question, Lucy, is, and the question is, when it comes to primary day, and people have to push that button or pull that lever or put the thing in, whatever it is, what will happen then? That's the question. And again, he's defied all the odds until now, and I'm not suggesting that I'm here to say he won't win those primaries, but that is the big question mark. Will it continue through the primary season?
I don't know if it's a plot or not, but really, when you're watching the American media and you're watching the American news, all the channels there are talking only about Donald Trump. No Ben Carson, no maybe Hillary Clinton because she is the leading candidate, but nobody's talking about anyone else except examining the Donald Trump phenomena. And it seems that maybe the media has a major impact and major factor in him being so popular, and maybe at the day people will vote Trump because they are brainwashed with everything that they saw.
There's no doubt that's what people are saying all the time. You saw it when you were in the States. I saw it in the States. Look what we're talking about here. And it is a story which is fascinating. It's a story which is captivating. It's a story which sells. People want to hear more about this, for the positive and the negative. Something inside of me, there's something inside saying, going there and voting, I just don't know what's going to happen when it comes to that.
And we're literally just about a month away. And I think that you brought up a very important point, because at the primary level, in Iowa, for example, he's either trailing or running neck and neck now with Cruz. In New Hampshire, you have figures like Rubio and even Christie who are making big pushes there. If Donald Trump does not win the early primary states, his campaign will take a hit. And while he is well out ahead in like South Carolina and other southern states, for example, if he doesn't win or at least perform very, very strongly in those early primary states, he could hit a roadblock.
He'll stay in the race though. Again, he has his own money, his own funding. He'll still be around.
Money's not an issue
but
for him.
right, but in terms of leading the pack and getting the nomination, that's where he'll fall back.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Democrats.
The Democrats, what I've recently, I saw a couple of polls in the last week that shows Hillary's lead slimming down to about 16 points over Sanders. I mean, I don't really read that much into it at this stage because she's still ahead in most of the primary states. I just think that at the end of the day, what it will come down to on the Democratic side is that basically Bernie Sanders is unelectable at the national level. He's in my opinion, unelectable as Donald Trump. If you look at statistics and what the American people say, they will vote for a socialist last amongst almost every single denomination or the way that people, or ideology, or the way that people define themselves.
Watching the last debate of the Democrats was, a little bit like I felt uncomfortable. I was watching it from the hotel, and I was like a little bit uncomfortable, sitting in the bed, saying, "Oh, okay, this doesn't feel." Bernie Sanders, you're not supposed to be there, but Hillary gave it all, and she gave the performance, and she looked really good.
She was definitely on. She's definitely working very hard. Going back to what I started with, though, that same poll asked the question about being ashamed of Hillary being president, and 35% nationally say they'll be ashamed. Just the very question is fascinating. We're not talking about who would you vote. Would you be embarrassed if, I think it says something about where we are, if we have a Trump versus Hillary, if that happens, it is just going to be...
and it's not like Hillary came out of nowhere. I mean, she was the first lady. She was in the Senate. She was the Secretary of the State. So for that many people to have that kind of impression of her, it just shows you where the average American voter is relative to the establishment.
Do you want to talk about the schlong?
Lucy went for it. She went for it. We weren't sure, but she went for it.
No, we're not going to talk about it. Gentlemen, thank you very much for that. We're going.